here for tonight, is to educate you on what we're looking at and to make sure you all are, that's what you all want to do. So it is lighting that will, you can change the colors. So you could have like red, white, blue for 4th of July. You can have green and red or whatever for Christmas. So there's pre-programmed colors that are there. The first company is actually this, I don't know how you even say it, Olo or Oleo in the blue. That's the company that we're leaning towards. They are a little pricier, but they have a better warranty, and they've also had better communication with us. They also, one of the things that they did was give us the name of a buyer of their product that was up in Villa Hills, and Joe actually went and looked at that. And Joe, if you want to kind of chime in there.
I'll comment on the features, the installation, and frankly, I was skeptical before I saw it. It was pretty impressive. This is a very nice neighborhood. It's an installation that had been done 5 or 6 months ago, and if I had to estimate the area of lighting that it would take, it would be about equivalent to these 3 sides. So from an installation standpoint, it took them 3 days. Their crews come, yes, I'll explain why. It's more than just simple track lights, all right? The crews come out of the north side of Cincinnati down here to do it. It took them take them 3 days. There's a control panel that needs to be put in, and I've taken pictures of that. But one of that we would need to find a location for that control panel where we put it back in the service room where the light panels are, or out front, because you can do things from that panel. But the most impressive piece was he had it all on his iPhone, and there's all these preset programs, and frankly you can make any light, any color, do just about anything. But he says he's never had to. He's played with it and done some designs. But some example, if you wanted to pick St. Patrick's Day, there's a program for that, and you want the lamp lights to run around, you want them to flash, you want them to race with a number of them. You can do. You want it to play to music, and to the beat of the music as it goes. You can do all those things, but I think there's enough preset programs for holidays that I wouldn't even imagine. They even had one for Ramadan and things. But things we could do, a big Bengals game, or when UK wins the NCAA next year, we could have blue out here. Or if the high school was having a championship game or something like that, we could pick the colors of those and put those up. And there's all the national holidays and all the religious holidays. It's a click of a button on your iPhone. So we would need a location for the control panel. It's about so big by so big, and 215 volt outlets to plug into. It was just impressive, and I was skeptical. But you can do all kinds of things. I have some photographs, but I only shared that with the committee.
And I was too. I was very skeptical of the cost, but after looking at the warranties and reading the reviews, there's very little maintenance to this at all. There's no taking it up and putting it down putting it up and taking it down every year. It's there. It's has a great warranty. The advertised lifetime rating is 100,000 hours. That's considered to be nighttime hours, not during the day. So I think we figured up, we figured it's like 20 years or something.
Yeah, it's what it lists on the thing for 20 years.
Yeah, okay.
And again, what building was it on in Villa Hills that you, as far as equipment, was it a city building, municipal building?
No, it was a brand new house. This is in a gated community. They're $1 million homes.
And this picture here, or brochure here, kind of gives you some information about, where they've done it.
That's what I was looking at, but I didn't know about the Villa Hills, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right on the river.
Yeah. We tried to kind of look around and, see what other people have done.
Right, I was thinking
And
it was out someplace that was on a city building or something.
we were kind of also looking at something that was low maintenance, because, we only have one maintenance person. And we really lean on Leo a whole lot already. And
Well, we pay him, right? Check every 3 months.
Do it.
So I wanted to just give you all this information so that you could kind of determine what you want to do with it. And if you have any questions, we'll be glad to answer those questions. And then I have another little piece. We were also, and the whole purpose of this was that we've had people within us and also a lot out in the public saying, we wish that, they wish that we had Christmas decorations and, some nice things for our community. So that's how this got started. And then we're also, the next piece of this, so I'm submitting this to you to let you know where we are on this portion of it. But we're also looking at some temporary Christmas kind of lights about the same size of our banners now. I think are they 3 or 4 foot? I forget. I think they're 4 foot. Yeah, they're 4 foot. So these are like 4 foot lighted Christmas lights, and we kind of are still throwing that around of, which ones we're gonna get, or which ones we're gonna recommend to get, and that sort of thing. So we're still working on that part of it. We have kind of determined, most people, I've been taking a little informal poll, and most people want them to be clear, like snowflake, instead of religious colored. So everybody was kind of leaning that way. I kind of like the religious colored ones, but I understand everybody's reasoning on that. So we're still working on that part of it, but want to submit this part to you because actually, they need a little time to order the materials. But I think their turnaround was pretty quick, wasn't it, Sean? Like 3 weeks or something like that?
Yeah, it was less than a month. It was actually not better than I thought it would be.
Yeah. So, and the cost, I listed the cost there above each of those, but like I said, we're really leaning toward the first one with the oleo lighting because we feel like that's gonna be the best bang for our buck. So do you have any questions or?
Where are we on the street decorations? I know you say you're looking at it, but still.
Leo is on the committee and he was gonna work, we were supposed to meet again on Thursday night and you were gonna check with.
I haven't checked with Duke.
Okay.
There's several poles that have electric available from where we had it before. And the way that's set up, it's not metered, so I'm sure I just have to get with Duke and say, we need this many of them turned on. And they do have their tags on it, so I couldn't see.
Yeah.
But it looks like all they have to do is turn it on, and then we'll have power. Of course, they'd only be on at night, and if they were willing to do it before for a set rate, seemed to be, didn't we think that? Maybe like they just charged us a flat rate monthly or something to do that?
Well, we weren't sure. We've still got some work to do on that part of
But
it.
especially with new ones being LEDs.
Yeah.
I know you were trying to talk to that fellow over at Verona. Did that not come through?
I gave him 2 opportunities to get back with us. He told us he was coming. I called him in, and he didn't get back with us, so we just kind of dropped it.
Okay.
I'm sure he's busy. Everybody's busy.
Sure.
We did have, we were looking at first at someone more local, and we did find a fella in Union, but he said he was so backed up that he couldn't even give us a real estimate. He kind of gave me a rough one, and it was lower, but, and then he didn't seem like he had time for us. But we're still looking at that part of it. We just kind of doing a piece of it at a time.
Okay. All right, but your old recommendation is number 1 on it.
It is, that oleo, yeah.
And the lead time is about 3 weeks once you get an okay to go?
Yeah, they just need the okay, and I think there was a down payment they required or something to order the materials. Okay. And then, but it was short that they could come down and do it.
Anybody else?
If they haven't got busier.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anybody else
it's
have
been-
questions about any of it?
Are they gonna come for a visit to actually see the location of
Oh,
available outlets and?
Yeah, we still have to work that out with them, but we could make that contingent, that we.
One of the things that I asked the homeowner was, what would you have done different if you had to do it again? And like our building, it was a very wide metal fascia, and they put it right in the middle. And he said I would have put it on the upper edge just to be more discreet. And frankly, I agree with that. But before they show up to do it, I would, and
Right.
Leo, you and I kind of talked about that. We probably ought to emphasize that.
Well, and that's, Sean will be involved with setting that up. He might not know it yet, but He'll arrange for somebody to come down and meet you guys.
Sean.
He's here every
The
day.
column, the sign.
Because their estimates were based on like a Google view, right?
Yes, it was. All of the companies were
Which,
actually, yeah.
I mean, that's pretty daggone close, but there is a difference of where they're gonna put it versus what it looked like.
Yeah.
One other thing that I kind of thought of, that this installation was like new lights on a new house, so the color match was perfect.
Yeah.
Our building fascia is probably, 15, 20 years old in color,
Oh, yeah.
and it might be harder for them to
Might be, yeah.
match it, so I think we ought to say, to really take a look at that. We want to see what the color match is.
Yeah.
They said it was like 9 colors or something.
I'm really hoping that Leo and Joe will spearhead this. Aren't you, Sean?
Yes.
We'll just organize it.
I'm retired.
I didn't even say it was manual and stuff.
See, plenty of time to go.
Okay, what's council's wish at this point? You want to move forward with this thing?
So what would the cost be?
It's $7,800, and it was $5,200 just to do the front. So to do, yeah, but it's because of their time. So
Well, I'm
they're-
thinking too, the
they're-
panel, all the electricity hookups and stuff, that's one time, no matter if you're doing it.
Exactly, that's what I mean,
Chemicals, yeah.
and their time to travel
Yeah.
here with their
Yeah.
team, because they have a team that does it, so.
We thought the lighting on this side of the building would help the police department, the sheriff's department, phone calls being made over here.
That's what we were kind of hoping
Yeah,
to, yeah.
additional security.
Just leave
Say
that side
simply
white.
bright white.
Yes, you can, exactly, yeah.
The warranty is a 5-year, and that includes all labor, all parts, all, I mean, if you're looking at the bottom down there.
Yeah, that's what I saw, really.
Yeah, is that what it said?
Well, it says system warranty, 5-year labor, and what's the limited lifetime, I mean, what's the different thing, trim light, jellyfish, gems, what's all that? Is that just?
That's a-
Those are different things.
Companies,
Different
different
companies.
different products.
Different packages.
Yeah.
No, that's
Different,
different.
Different brand.
actual cut manufacturer.
Different
different
brand.
You got
companies.
a GM,
I
and
gotcha.
Chevy, and Mercedes, and yeah.
So the one we're talking about is the blue?
Yes.
And it's a 5-year, covers everything, something goes broke, they come fix it.
Yeah, and one thing that's, Leo pointed out that's very important is the other companies, as far as the UL listing, he said, that's something we really want to look at. And this company said yes, and the other ones are undisclosed. So, and, just the interaction that Sean and I have had with this company, they've just been.
responsive.
Now, it's, the name of the company is Lakeside Lighting, and I also looked up their reviews, and they were good as well. So, we've tried to be really careful about it, and,
Okay, so what's council's pleasure at this point?
Would we be able to use ARPA funds for this since it's a permanent? Okay. I didn't know if, because we were doing ARPA for the other lighting, if this would fall under that
It's
or
in the
not.
beautification budget for next
Okay.
fiscal year,
Yeah.
so.
and we didn't
Just wanted
use
to
the
double check.
funds this year
Correct.
in
Yeah.
beautification, so he's kind of rolling those over.
Yeah.
So, and also, are you all interested in us pursuing the pole lights? We think that we've got, Leo, wasn't it about 12? We think we've got about 12 electric poles.
Yes.
I think that's about what it was. I expect those decorations, they're pricey, they're very pricey, are gonna be in the range of $700 a piece. So we couldn't get more than 12, and you were thinking maybe do 5 or 6 to start with, so we can determine that.
I was thinking 10 to start with, I was thinking 5 locations
Okay.
across, but
Okay,
that, whatever council wants to do and everything.
Right. right.
And then, depends on whether you want to turn left down there and go down Violet Road at all, or just stay strictly on Main Street, or, so, let's,
And then we're also looking at, I'm sorry.
that's all right, go ahead.
We're also looking at, do we want to purchase them, or would we want to let a company come in and put them up, take them down,
As a
take them
service.
back and store them, kind of rent them? So we haven't got that far with that project yet.
Okay.
Been kind of focusing on this one.
But you're comfortable with making a recommendation on this part of this?
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, council's pleasure on the first part of that.
I'm for it.
I'm for it. I think it'll look nice.
You don't have to make a decision this evening if you wish, because with the 3-week lead time, you can put it off if you want, but I don't know if it's going to get any better, so it's up to you all.
Yeah.
But it's in the budget,
Yes.
for the beautification.
Yes. So we need a motion, if someone wants to make it. Motion by Leo, is there a second? Second by Michelle. Discussion on the motion at this point. Everybody ready to vote? Ready? You want me to call the roll, or is everybody good with it?
Yeah.
We're in.
6
Okay.
yeses?
6 yeses.
Yep.
Okay. Motion carries. Next is ordinance number 329, 2024, which is an ordinance providing for the annual budget for the city of Crittenden to reflect projected revenues and expenditures through June 30th, 2025. And it is, of course, in words and figures as has been printed and distributed to you. So we first need a motion and second, and then we could open the floor for discussion on the budget if anybody has anything. So is there a motion that we pass ordinance number 329, 2024
Yeah, I'll make a motion.
relating for budget? Motion is
Motion.
by Brad, is there a second? Second is by Michelle. All right, having a motion and second, now the floor is open for discussion. So anyone have questions or anything having to do with the budget at this point? The new budget, proposed budget, I'll say. All right, this is our first reading, Sean?
This is second.
This is our second reading, okay, so, all right, questions, concerns, suggestions, nothing? We want to do this by roll call since we're spending a lot of money, so Sean, you call the roll.
Oh, you mean the budget spend? Yes. Okay. All right, Mrs. Bowman,
Yes.
Mrs. Morris,
Yes.
Mr. Tanner,
Yes.
Mr. Tuesday,
Yes.
Mr. Livingood,
Yes, sir.
okay, Mr. Saylor.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay,
Commissioner
hearing
Arnold.
none, that's all yes, the motion carries. Next, moving then to ordinance number 330, 2024, having to do with amending the zoning ordinance of the city of Crittenden. Its purpose is to, let me just briefly state it, is to change, if you go down 6 lines, the 400 square feet to 800 square feet, because in our previous ordinance, we had changed 2 parking spaces to 4, so it has to mirror that. And this is the second reading of that ordinance. Does anyone have any questions on what's going on with this one? It's a technical change to make what we've already done with the 4 parking spaces fit. Everybody good with that? Understand what's going on? Questions on it?
It applies just to new construction.
It does apply only to new construction, yes. Okay, we need a motion, I'm sorry, this is a second reading?
Second reading, yes.
Motion and second on this one, so motion by Joe.
Second.
Okay, second by Greg. Again, open for discussion. Any? Everybody good with it?
Yes, sir.
Those in favor, raise your right hand. Those opposed, same sign. All right, motion carries. Next is ordinance number 331, 2024, which is a second reading. It is an ordinance establishing a fee for short-term rental safety inspections. The ordinance is proposing a fee of, or establishing a fee, should it pass, $100 for the annual inspection with an additional $25 for any subsequent inspection if it is necessary to verify corrective action for short-term rentals. The purpose of this, of course, is to ensure, as far as we can, life safety, minimum life safety requirements in short-term rentals, and to compensate our inspector for going there to do the inspection, for making it known what is necessary, and then for doing a re-inspection if that becomes necessary as well. So this is, again, a second reading. So I need a motion and second, and then we'll be open for discussion. Is there a motion on this ordinance?
I'll make a motion to accept it as
Motion by Greg, second by Leo. Floor is open for discussion. Is there any discussion on the motion?
No, I'm glad that we changed some of the verbiage in this for subsequent that we talked about last one, so it's, yeah, it looks good now.
And we did.
So first year's 100, second year's 25, or
No,
second
it's
year
100.
100?
It's $100 a year.
It's 100.
Just if they gotta go back.
Yearly, and then
Right.
they
Gotta go back for
come back
corrective
on
action.
But they
29.
have to go back, if, let's say the suggestion is, no, you gotta have smoke detectors, you gotta have whatever,
Right.
and they have to go verify that, it would be an additional 25.
That puts
If they
teeth
just
in it.
fix it,
Twenty,
no,
is
like-
25 too cheap for a second inspection?
It may be.
Because I'm just thinking, you have stuff adopted, you know what you need to do. Somebody's liable just to say, I'll get them to inspect it, if they don't say any, I don't know. That's kind of my thought.
Yeah, but again, way I read this is that it's subsequent inspection or inspections. So again, you get another 30 days, and it's another 25, and another 30 days, and it continues to build.
That
That's
is
what I'm
correct.
reading.
But they have to go back.
I'm just,
Yeah.
I don't know, I just feel like somebody at $25 might just take the chance, I'm just gonna do the minimum, let them tell me what I gotta do, because it's only $25.
You could be right.
That's,
Well, this is also not what the cost to the owner of the property is. This is what's paying the person from the fire rescue team to inspect. A previous ordinance is charging $150 for a renewal per year for a single unit, $250 per multi-unit. So that money's coming in, will cover these costs.
okay.
Now, if someone gets excessive, you have to go back 15 times, then
Yeah.
they're probably get, rejected, closure business.
If we see that somebody's
Yeah.
gaming the system like that, we can always change this,
Okay.
you know.
All right,
Yeah, this is just paying fire safety, be it
Right.
at this point, Mr. Burton, or a designate that he has, future fire chief, whatever else, so. Sorry.
Other questions? No, you're fine. Other questions, concerns? Everybody ready to vote? Everybody in favor, raise your right hand. Those opposed, same sign. The motion carries. Thank you. Oh, yes. All right, ordinance number 332-2024 is a first reading. We had discussed this, I think, at least I hope we did, at our last meeting. You know that the Commonwealth of Kentucky has passed a law allowing for medical marijuana. And then it passed several gradations of what cities and counties can do in response to that. You can write regulations as to how you're going to do it, where you're going to do it. You can do all kinds of things up to and including prohibiting it being produced, processed, or dispensed within the confines of the city. This ordinance, should you decide that you want to accept it, and again, this is a first reading, so you have an opportunity to think about it and talk to people about it, would just prohibit anything having to do with medical cannabis being produced, processed, or distributed within the confines of the city of Crittenden. Again, this is a first reading, so you have it with you. You're welcome to take it, read it, talk to people about it, see what you want to do, and we'll put it on for second reading at our next meeting.
Thank you.
Next is ordinance number 333-2024, which again is a first reading. It's an ordinance amending the zoning ordinance again, and you can look, and it's pretty simple to look through this thing. Area and height regulations for permitted and conditional uses, everything that's struck through is to be eliminated from our current ordinance. Everything that is underlined is to be added. Basically, it increases rather dramatically minimum lot sizes for agricultural property only within the city. And I want to tell you the reason that I'm making a suggestion that we do this is agricultural property by state law can only have an extreme minimum amount of regulation, basically a setback. That's pretty much what you can do with agricultural property. Now, I'm not opposed to agricultural property within the city, but if we're going to have agricultural property developed within the city, I think we need to be very careful in not letting it be developed in a way that we have very little control over, by being too densely, by being the population being, or the use being made too dense, that sort of thing. So again, this is a first reading, I think. It is a first reading. Take this, read through it. Again, talk to people, find out what the feelings are about this. This is my proposal. You can change it. You can make it smaller. You can make it bigger. The reason I chose 5 acres as far as a suggestion is because that's the minimum area that is a separate standalone lot. As far as being then having an agricultural development, you can have a division of a larger tract into 5 acres within the county. Now you can, in the county ordinance, go down to 1 acre, okay, for like rural residential, that kind of thing. But I think inside the city, if we're going to have development, I would prefer to see it as a residential type, an R1, R2, R3, R4, rather than agricultural, where there's practically no oversight over what the use is as it's being made.
And do we know how many 5-acre lots of that size right now are in the city limits?
Yeah, well, we
With the
did
number
look at
we're
that, there's,
One that's 17.
how many?
What's
I
that?
mean, it's less than 10. It's,
Yeah, probably. There's several right back here at the end of this street
Yeah.
that's being done.
I don't have the map.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know where a couple of them are, but I just was curious
Yeah.
how many we knew that would fall into this guideline, so.
I think when we were talking about it, didn't we think there were about 15 or 20 or something like
They have
that?
the fancy dancy city website.
And are they actively being utilized in
Not at this
strictly, okay.
They're
Yeah,
only at
technology
this
there.
point. No,
Is it looking good?
that's the reason I was trying to get ahead of this a little bit.
Yeah, that's great,
It's
sir.
going to happen, yeah.
So
So
all
I'll
the,
take a
all the
look.
green properties, the dark green is A1.
Okay.
This is actually converted to highway commercial a while back. This is a zoning map from 2021. There's some A1 here, this is what's the state of Kentucky. This was converted also to I1, it's Case Lane, but Kentucky, the Ross Estate, and some property down here, of course, that's the country club.
And some of
There's not a lot.
that, some of that, of course, is not going to be developed, you know that.
Yeah,
Country
well, that's why I was
Club
kind
will
of curious, if it would be used for,
You know.
come in and start raising the back on it, like some of these places have
Well,
done before,
we
so.
don't have a problem with raising the back, that's
Yeah,
it. We
yeah.
turn it into residential, that's,
Yeah.
that has no control, that's the problem.
Yep, gotcha.
Okay, we'll put it on for second reading next time, and that way it has an opportunity to think about it and read through it. Let's see, that brings us to ordinance number 335, 2024, which is an attempt to do something for our recently retired,
We still missed one, I think.
I did,
The
You
fences.
skipped the fences.
334.
The fence types, yeah.
2024, oh, I'm sorry, yes, I did skip that. 2024 is the fencing ordinance. The only reason for this is if you look at what's being changed is taking one class of fence out of in our residential zones. It leaves them 1, 2, 4, and 5. We're going to go through and try to explain that. If you pull up 1, 2, 4, and 5, and this is a first reading, pull it up and look at it because it's kind of confusing. We talked about that because it talks about is this only the stockade?
Yes.
Or is this, okay.
Do you have a
It talks
copy?
about a stockade fence, yes. And it's not even defined in the ordinance. So if you'll take this and compare it to the ordinance, look at what we're attempting to change and why we're attempting to change. Yeah, I know, it says you can't have one, but it doesn't tell you what it is. So it's just an attempt to make the ordinance be a little more user-friendly when you read it, okay? So take a look at that before the next meeting, and I think you'll see what we're trying to accomplish in that. We'll discuss that one the next time, too. Then that brings us to the street name change. This was, again, JD recently retired, you know that. He worked for the city some 30 years. I don't know what you all think about this, but, you know, I thought about we should probably do something. Jennifer called me and suggested it actually, that we should recognize this service, and she's right, we should in some way. I wasn't that much on a watch or cake and punch, you know. So my suggestion is that we do something a little more permanent. That's the reason I'm suggesting this name change. I picked this particular street only because there's no houses on it, to be honest with you. It's a rather short one. It would not entail people having to change their addresses or do anything of that nature. So, you know, wouldn't impact the post office or anything of that nature. And it would simply be a name change, and we actually have difficulty with getting people to give us the right name on that street anyway.
How to spell it correctly.
Yeah, how to spell it right.
Absolutely.
It's different on our zoning map. It's different in several places. So,
PDA.
yeah, PBA has it as a different one than we do. But again, this is a first reading. So if you would take a look at that one as well, and we'll put it on for second reading at our next meeting as well, to see what your desire is with that.
May I just clarify that real quick? So
Please.
the Sayre Street, Harlan, beyond the two duplexes will stay Sayre. But the gap between Main Street and Harlan will be the change.
And the reason for that is because addressing,
Yeah.
it would not be, this would not entail an address change for anybody at the post
In the
office.
future or anything.
Right. Next is a resolution adopting and approving the execution of municipal aid co-op program contract between the city and the Commonwealth. You'll have seen this before, every single year. Basically, it means that they're going to keep a portion of our rural road aid money. I've forgotten the percentage offhand, I think it's like 3%.
Yeah.
Yes.
You already have money, the estimate for next year is $87,000.
Yeah. And then what happens is it goes into a larger pool, and then any city or county can make application for that money on an emergency basis. For instance, let's say that a bridge collapsed in the state, it was a lot more than any city or county budget could handle. This would be a pool, it's kind of a self-insurance pool that you can make application for, and you could receive money. And it protects everybody that's involved in it from a self-insurance perspective, okay? It's basically what it amounts to. So everybody understand what the thing is? Have any questions on it? Okay. It's simply a resolution, so we can take action on this one this evening. I would need a motion to accept it. The resolution that we join with the state in forming this and funding it, so there's a motion that we adopt the resolution.
Would this cover like the road over the dam?
It would cover the road over the dam. Yes, if it washed out, then this is, it wouldn't necessarily cover it, but it would give us
That
a
dam will
line
wash out,
that
it's
we could
fine.
go for. Yes, it would. It's an insurance policy, is what it amounts to. The answer is, it may not cover it, but it gives us a source. Motion by Bobby, second by Michelle.
Yeah.
Is there discussion? I do need a roll call vote because they're going to record that.
Yeah, I need to actually sign it individually. I'll
Yeah.
pass it around. So.
Okay. We'll start over
Bobby,
here.
who seconded that one?
Bobby made it, Michelle second. And everybody in favor?
Everybody else signs it.
Okay, everybody else will sign.
They do, okay.
Oh, they're doing it over here, Sean.
We got a pen.
Do we need to be on the same page?
We got
They
one
got what
here.
you're going on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Next, pardon?
You're up next, Leo.
The next,
Okay.
next is the maintenance equipment from Leo. He's been looking into this for us. So, Leo, when you're ready. And this has to do with the mowers.
Yes, the two mowers, I
Go
did,
ahead and sit down. Okay.
I did contact both of them this week to give another bid. The Kenton equipment, the warranties are the same. Both companies have 2-year bumper-to-bumper warranty and a 6-year powertrain. The Coyote equipment had a 10-year, a little bit further warranty, but that only applied to residential, which wasn't us. So basically, you're looking 2-year bumper-to-bumper, 6-year powertrain. Comparing the same mowers, 25 horsepower, 60-inch valley mower, backhoe, loader. The Coyote came in at $26,246, and at Cornerstone had to go to a New Holland because to compare apples to apples was $28,998, so we're about $2,700 difference in price in two pieces of equipment that are pretty much similar. That was a set of forks, bucket, backhoe, mower, and the tractor itself.
Okay, so your recommendation on that would be?
The lesser, $26,246.
Okay.
That's a Coyote brand. You know, they've been in Independence there forever, and now they're up here in Sherman, I guess. So that'd be my recommendation.
Okay, anybody have questions concerning it? I'll tell you, I did talk to Keith about it. I assume you did.
He did, because I had talked to him, he
Go
came
ahead and
out.
tell people what his feelings are on this thing.
He was good with either one. He had some of the same concerns I did. This frame tractor, you don't have to take that mower off to use the backhoe. So it's not like you're using the backhoe all the time, but it's a 10-minute piece to take off. You've got the loader, you've got the forks, and then you've got that 4-wheel drive belly mower to do, I'm assuming, like the mobile home lot and the lake property primarily. And they're both hydrostat, pretty serviceable tractors, looks like.
Both pieces of equipment sitting on the lot available?
Yes, within a couple weeks. The tractors are there, and the hose readily available. They don't have it on there per se, but once you pull the trigger, yes.
Is there enough room in the shed for the additional equipment?
Yes. And these, all this stuff's real user-friendly. My experience with them is you're always gonna leave that loader on there. You know, maybe not the bucket and the forks, and you're always gonna have the mower on there, and the other's just as-needed basis, basically.
What about the reach? You were gonna look at that? or-
The reaches were the same. It's gonna be tough to reach out into the lake there, because just any of them with that frame tractor, it's gonna reach some, but not whatever. And I talked to him about that, and I talked to JD, because he had got some of the quotes originally. I think that'll do what they're wanting to do, clean out some of the smaller areas, you know, be able to haul some dirt if we need to fill in holes for the sidewalk, whatever.
Questions? Anybody? Okay. Then there's a motion, and we move forward with the purchase of the, I'm sorry, what was the name of the one you said?
Coyote.
Coyote, okay, motion by Michelle, second by Angie. Everybody in favor? Okay, motion carries. Next was the add-on number 13, which is the maintenance building for the heat and air conditioning. You all had a chance to look at it now. You don't have to make a decision on that this evening. I know I just stuck it on there. But if you're comfortable in doing it, we can move forward on that as well. Or if you'd rather, we can move that forward to our next agenda, and you can make that decision at that point. So what's your pleasure here?
What have we used in the past? I mean, nothing
A portable heater.
It's like in an air conditioner, it's like in a hotel,
Yeah.
what it is.
right now, the current configuration.
Yeah.
Well, is it working though, the one that's in there?
No.
That's what I wanted to get to,
Partially
what the need
right,
for.
and that's the thing we were trying to say at the beginning, you know, how old is that one? Is it 30 years old? Is it 40 years
The
old?
actual heat in there during the winter, Greg, was a portable
Portable
heater.
heater,
He
yeah.
would bring in a
Okay.
portable heater and set it in there, you know, and just, because there is water, you know, the bathroom and that sort of thing.
I'd like to talk to him about these two, just so I can understand the difference. I think I know what it is, because I mean,
It's not a problem,
to
but I
me,
mean, it's not
what,
gonna freeze now, that's
to
for
me,
sure.
what's there has worked.
Yeah,
Well, that's what, the bigger part was the air conditioning piece. And again, what the need for that was, do we have things stored in there where, again, that's something that needs to be, or is it a place to get away for staff or something? Or again, you know, I can understand in the heating, if, with things that are back there in the wintertime, they can burst and all kinds of things, but again.
I will tell you, he's gonna need a place to start keeping some records. I'm asking him, we're pretty much demanding that he go to this training that's being offered through, it's at Georgetown. It will equip him to get a license to do all kinds of, it will qualify him as an OSHA certified person to do this stuff that you have to do if you handle brake fluids, if you handle the aquatic spray that's necessary to do the lake, to do any kind of spraying for weeds. Right now, we don't have anybody certified to do that.
But you're talking about the building could be a quasi-office space for
Well,
him
and
to be able to
he
document.
is going to, we've offered to get him a laptop. He has a laptop.
Okay,
which
so that's
I've asked
what-
him to, you know, we won't offer to buy that one, and he wants to keep his own laptop, but he wants to use it, which is fine. He has a printer. But in order to start keeping OSHA compliant records and that sort of thing, and there are cities, and we got a thing in just within the last week where they've been doing inspections, cities, you know, that have, believe it or not, paint thinner, just anything like that, that you're required to have.
Grease and.
Yeah, you're required to have someone certified to handle that sort of thing.
No, again, that fulfills the need that I was looking for summertime, and
Right.
if he's got things, we got places for him, that's great.
Right.
No,
So
good.
that's a great deal of it, what's going on.
No, understood.
So between the two, usually with the P-TEC, with the filter, it's gonna pull out, you just wash it off like once every 45 days or
I have no
so.
idea what a P-TEC is, what are you talking
The
about?
air conditioner,
Okay,
like the one that looks more like an air conditioner.
Like the window.
Yeah. You're just pulling out the filter, usually washing it off, so you don't have that maintenance cost, but when it's dead, you can't usually repair them. With the heat pump system, you've got a little bit of more maintenance. You're gonna have to make sure, the nice thing with the heat is there's that outside unit, but if it gets below a certain temperature, then it automatically goes onto emergency heat and will still keep heating the place until you can get the repairs. So that is nice about it. You will have to buy, you know, the filters to replace probably every 90 days or so, but that's minimal. So there's good things and bad things about both. I don't think you're gonna go wrong. The prices And that P-TEC is probably $800, $850 retail for the materials. So if you're getting it installed for $1,035 with materials, that's a good price. So I think both of these prices are good, if that includes labor, just from my business.
Okay.
So it's just about which way do you want to do the labor?
Right.
Or the, you know, are we looking do we want to do small maintenance throughout, but probably get a longer life? I would go heat pump. But if we're trying to, $1,000, I'd probably just go with the P-TEC. And then when it dies 8, 9 years from now, another $1,000, So.
So what's your pleasure? Do you want to make a decision now, or you want to give some time to talk with Keith? How do y'all want to do it? It's not going to be that hot probably for the next month, the heat's going to probably kick in June, July, August. So if you want a month to allow Leo to talk to him.
I'm good with the wall unit. I mean, for the size of that unit, and what we're doing in it, I'm good with the cheaper version.
Okay. Is that everybody else's feeling as well?
Yeah, I don't have any issue with that.
All right, then if there's a motion to that effect, motion by Leo to go with identify the one if you would please.
Yeah, that's this one here.
Okay. Is there a second? Second by Michelle. Discussion? None? Everybody in favor of that motion? All right, thank you. Motion carries. Greg, brings us to the park update.
Sure. Following our meeting last month in regard, and I gained some insight from council in regard to some of the things I needed to take back to Rachel and team in regard to finances. We ended up meeting as a committee on the 16th, the week after, and we had a discussion, and we have decided from the drawings that I presented last time to let you just take a look at some of the things that they come up with conceptually. We decided on the B, the middle one, is what we wanted to focus our attention on. And again, we submitted a list of 15 to 20 different items, things that we wanted to see them adding into it, kind of give and take, and then some statements in there around their work on helping us through phasing. And again, with the monies that we were presented for the upcoming year, and then again, kind of laying that out, the opportunities for, again, Rachel to be a consultant maybe, if again, they did not win bid. All that was built into our last discussion. And again, we're waiting right now in the next week or so, we're kind of deciding right now between staff of each to be able to set up a meeting within next week or the following week. They'll be able to hash out some additional details as she prepares to work on her final drawings. To be able to present to council as far as a recommendation moving forward. So we will meet again next week or the following week, and then again be able to continue to go back and forth, and again getting details from her from the questions and statements that we submitted, so we'll have better answers on that and continue to negotiate out those issues. And then I would say within the next month to 2 months we'll be able to make a recommendation and bring to council what we've come up with as a committee, and then we would really enjoy feedback on the backside of that.
The only thing I would ask is we got to get rid of this. I can't say get rid of. We got to spend the ARPA money.
That has been made definitely at the forefront. That the 150 has to be spent by the end of the calendar year, correct? And then again, the other 200,000 becomes available 1st of July. So we'd definitely be able to look at doing that this summer and being able to spend it up.
If we could keep Rachel involved and maybe get her to start looking at some RFPs, some requests for proposals, and back them off from, say, if we could have everything spent in October or so.
Yeah.
Because then Sean's got to have time to report this as well.
Yeah, but I mean, all this money is spent this calendar year.
Right.
Putting trees in December is a little bit sketchy.
Yeah, no, totally agree.
Yeah.
She's been made aware of that on our submission, but again, we'll definitely bring that up again next
We
week.
kind of like her involved in the request for proposal process, because that way, not only will we advertise it, she can hand it out to the people that she knows, and get them to bid on it, so.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's part of her, again, staying with it as far as the the different phasing portions of that to be able to help lay it out.
And she's agreeable to staying into the, I'd like to keep Brent if we can, she's agreeable to staying into the supervision area.
Well, we're waiting on that to find out. That was all submitted back to her as far as I laid out a number of different things as it came out, and that was one of the items that we wanted to definitely put forward to her, that in case the bid did not go with her companies and things, we wanted to pursue her as a consultant to be able to stay on top of it, be able to drive the progress each particular phase.
Questions?
Well, it's not related necessarily to this, but it might. Let me ask the question of you and Sean, were there any lessons learned from what the Church of Christ event was at Harvesters that might impact the design considerations that,
Not by me, I've heard very little about it.
Well,
Jennifer shaking her head yes, so
Yeah.
is there something you could share?
Yeah, the biggest problem that the church ran into was they wanted to provide hot dogs and chips and things like that. They wanted to cook the hot dogs on site, and they could not get a permit to do that without a bathroom facility. So they ended up handing out Lunchables. That was a significant problem.
Could they use portalets for that?
Yes.
Okay.
You could,
If
but
they
then there's
use
the
portalets-
cost. And
Yeah. If they could use portalet, I don't know what your all's feeling is, but I tell you, a permanent bathroom facility is a headache.
Right.
I mean, you can tell by the park over here, they're a real headache. So to the,
Vandalism
I'm sorry?
and vandalism's bad.
Yeah, so to the extent that we can stay away from
Yeah.
permanent bathroom facilities, and if an organization wants to use it and can furnish portlets, I think that would be, we'd be way ahead of the game as far as, vandalism and trying to keep it up and maintenance and all that sort of thing as well, so.
Well, the conceptual drawing, there were restrooms and there was like a stage up front. And again, those major infrastructure pieces would have been well down the road as far as the phasing in, and that could be adjusted whether we wanted to go that route after we got some of the initial stuff in. And that was our thought process, went through that. But she did bring that up as, again, a major headache when it came in, and something like just, again, preparing, boiling hot dogs and handing out whatever, that was something that, again, you couldn't do, Board of Health and that type thing. And again, I don't know how much Board of Health's gonna help with a portal as you go into some of those things, but go ahead.
Can I just give my opinion? I just felt like, because I was directly involved with it as well, if any small groups are going to use the park, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, small churches, that sort of thing, they're probably not gonna have the funds to rent portlets. So it's gonna limit use by small groups, which the facility is not big enough to have a big event there. Maybe it is, but I don't think the people, Harvesters would be very happy with having big events there. But for small groups like that, I feel like that we need to provide something. So I'll just leave it at that.
What does it cost to rent one of those things?
I don't even know. Didn't somebody say they had it, Leo, did you say you had an event or something?
We have had several, but I couldn't tell you what it cost.
Yeah, it wasn't cheap.
Yeah.
So at
Sports
IBEC,
services.
at IBEC Lane, there are portalets for the soccer fields.
Yeah.
So we may be able to talk to Crittenden Park, the Parks and Rec director, and see what, what their contract is and how long they've got them there.
Wonder if they'd be able to work out a deal where they could actually utilize the dressing facilities here for any kind of event there. Because like you say, we've only got 6 acres there.
Yeah.
That's not gonna support a very large event anyway.
Yeah,
In any event, you're not gonna be able to have very much there.
right.
And honestly, I would prefer the focus to be more on the community use as far as the walking. I don't know if y'all notice when you go by there, the people that utilize that park to take their dogs and their kids and strollers and that sort of thing. So I would a lot rather focus on that aspect of it than getting into a situation where we're spending a lot of money on maintenance to keep up bathrooms, or not bathrooms, restrooms, but.
And again, that's been part of the focus in conversation with Rachel too, is that again, we do have limited funds for ongoing maintenance, and again, we wanted to have, anything that we do conceptually, we want to make sure that that is a priority.
Right.
As far as staffing take care of.
Others?
But I'll have more next.
Okay, other questions, concerns? None? All right, we need a motion then to set our next meeting date, or to adjourn and set our next meeting date. Our next scheduled date will be the 21st, I believe.
May 28th or June 11th.
I'm sorry, May the 28th, yes, or June, yes, June 11th. So is there a motion for adjournment and to the next date of meeting? Anybody feel a need that we meet on the 28th? Or prefer to go to June 11th?
11th.
Joe's from 11. So the motion by Joe is to adjourn our meeting until the next meeting date of June 11. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second. Okay.